Community foundations are marvelous tools to facilitate the charitable giving of individuals. The foundation provided for, facilitated exposures that sensitized me to the needs of this community, its various elements, and allowed me to get involved in a very meaningful and satisfying way.
And it was because of the Community Foundation that we really became aware of a lot of the needs in this community. And so I guess for me, it's becoming aware of needs that I would have no other way of knowing about.
I think it's really important that we get as much as we can in terms of what the donor really wants to do. And if you say to me, I want to do this, can I do that? 9 times out of 10, yes.
I think we offer security, good management, and assurance that the money will be spent on those that need it the most.
You have to understand what we do in order to be able to see the possibilities of what you can do. I think that's the biggest thing, is really helping people understand that we're all about possibilities.
One is to the foundation's general fund, where they will then reinvest that into the community through grants that they award semi-annually. And that's great. You feel like your contribution is going to go a long way within the community.
I love everything, and I don't have enough money to give to everything. I wish I did. But when I make a gift to the community endowment in my own little fund, I know that it's supporting grants out into the community to all the organizations, and I don't have to pick one.
Well, a donor advised fund is a fund where you make a contribution or a series of contributions to a fund, and the fund is professionally managed by the Community Foundation. And at certain times in the future, you can advise the foundation of what you would like your money spent on.
If you're a donor advised fund member at the foundation, you get a chance to see the broad spectrum of these grants that are being requested.
I like to be able to provide funds for unique projects that are over and above the operating budgets that most nonprofits have. Some of those projects really are the things that end up affecting people's lives in such a greater way.
The Leave a Legacy program, which asks people to leave in their wills, a portion of their wills to some charity in Williamsburg.
And you can leave these directions in perpetuity. So this passion that you have, these efforts you want to support, you can be doing this for decades, albeit centuries, after you're long gone.
So it's a wonderful way of not only supporting while I am alive and thriving, but providing for those needs that we feel so passionate about after our passing. And that's another marvelous aspect of a community foundation.
Charitably inclined people have certain organizations, certain passions that they want specifically addressed, and they can depend on the foundation to make that connection.
The first grant that we got, I wasn't able to go to the breakfast when they actually had us talk, and so my husband went. He touched the hearts of one of your donors, and she called me up a couple months later and she said, "Oh, your husband just did the most wonderful job." And I'm thinking, really? I don't know what he said. And she said, well, he started talking about their little ballet shoes. And she said, my kids danced, and I guess she must have danced. And she said, I never thought about it. And could you use a check for $1,000? I'm like, oh yes, oh yes.
Primarily, we've sought grants for our Emergency Financial Assistance Fund. The Grove community has a lot of people who are the ones you hear about that have to really trade off rent versus meds versus food. We started seeking and receiving grants back in 2007. Since that time, starting in that time, we've received some $27,000 in grants and contributions.
One of those needs that popped up that we were totally unaware of was a respite care program run through the Williamsburg Methodist Church here, United Methodist Church.
We have incorporated a program called Memories in the Making, and this is something that it's a communication tool to foster storytelling amongst our participants with the Forum of Art.
People with memory difficulties, they want to give them a chance to express those in an artistic way. Painting, sculpting, drawing, that kind of thing.
As a small program, the responsibilities are very great. Our resources are stretched very thin, and the needs are huge.
And my wife and I got a chance to go in there and see all kinds of artwork, and some of it was very accomplished, some not so accomplished, but everything had a message. And they had a little message at the bottom. What were they trying to express in their artwork? And it just brought home, I mean, how valuable that thing is.
And to have a foundation that's aligned with what our scope is, the Williamsburg community, it makes it doable. It allows some of my dreams to become reality.
And they are able to really reach into so many different areas in arts and culture for our organization, but they do health and human services and social stuff and education, and it's a really great organization that makes you feel good, you know, to be a part of.
Our objective basically is to provide scholarships in the $1,000 range for as many students who qualify from our 3 high school seniors. From our 3 high schools as we can.
And the excitement, the unbridled enthusiasm, the disbelief, but the pleasure in her voice at receiving the scholarship was just wonderful. Our experience as a scholarship fund, partnering with them, exemplifies their motto of connecting people who care with causes that matter.
One of the boards I serve on, the ARC of Greater Williamsburg, received grant funding from the foundation, and this has allowed them to provide vans for transportation of clients to and from activities that the ARC sponsors for their many clients.
We provide services to adults with intellectual and developmental disabilities, such as autism, Down syndrome, cerebral palsy. Transportation for us is our biggest expense across the board. We provide door-to-door service.
They get us there. They deserve, transportation really deserves that money coming in so they could keep going to these events, going to the self-advocacy groups, doing things that we want to do, go bowling. They need that money. The transportation really needs that money to keep the ARC going.
I would just urge anyone to call up Nancy or Chris here and arrange to come to one of the grant luncheons. It's a nice lunch, and you actually get to see a lot about the community that you probably don't even know is going on.
Yes, I attended one of the foundation luncheons because I was a grant recipient, and hearing the stories of other recipients was so moving to me that I went home and wrote a check to the foundation out of our personal account to help make some things happen in the community, just like they have been able to allow me and my profession to make things happen.
And I just think it's a great place because they have their fingers on where the need is, and I don't. And I don't think many people do.
And it gives them an opportunity, because it's local, to see their monies at work.
Give from the heart, because more organizations benefit by it. And give to the foundation because they do such great work.